morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time zone you're in, and welcome to more Iwaihime! It has been a hot minute since we last played Iwaihime. Like, a while. Quite a while. So, I'm excited to continue and see where the story goes. We're still on UTAHIME, and I'm remembering things. Do you remember what happened in game? Well, there's this version of the MC that this girl is seeing that is speaking to where he's like really mean to her, and there's a black liquid that was taken, and you know. Yeah. Oh, Pashal, thank you so much for the super chat. Konbanwan, how has our fave doggo been doing? It was really hard to wake up today. I don't know. I woke up feeling kind of moody, like a little sad. It is whatever. Sometimes you just have days like that. I can't stand this time of year, so I'm just kind of like, you know. Yeah, no. You know, it's one of those days. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hi, Hito! Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm currently walking home, so I'm gonna lurk for most of this unless I want to be hit by a car. Good luck. Okay, please stay safe. Thanks, Shiki. Now I remember everything. I already regret the caps lock. Don't worry about it! Just one of those days. Yeah, I hate this time of year. Ugh. I need to figure out something to eat after stream. Like for dinner. All that I've eaten so far is concha bread. I had a concha bun and some water, and that's all I've had today. I need to figure out a meal. I might have to order delivery. I really don't want to order delivery though, because it's so expensive. But we'll see. We'll figure it out. Oh yeah, load. Alright, we're here. Yeah, I remember. Oh shoot, thank you so much for being a member for 10 months. I normally love summer, but every day being over 100 degrees is brutal. It's actually pretty chill right now, at least where I live. Like, I know 80 degrees isn't really chill, but because it's been raining so much, it doesn't feel hot outside. Oh, Efren, thank you so much for being a member for 4 months. Concha, yeah. It's all flowing back to me now. Parsley, thank you so much for the super chat. How'd you know what I was gonna say? The kick? We're taking hard drugs. Oh, Grimbear, thank you so much for being a member for 2 months. Hi, Shiki, you're very cool. Can I take a bite? Yeah, everyone gets one bite. Go ahead. Everyone gets one. I know everything. Hi, Shiki, I'd like to hear you sing again, and the song you could perfect the vocals for is Diamonds Are Forever by Shirley Bassey. I don't know this song, so I probably won't sing it. What happened to your eyes? I was such an idiot. I actually took that mysterious powder as told and I put it inside me, whoa. But I actually felt like I was getting younger. I believed that I could return to my heyday as Magical Lily, and I could show you just how special I was. Just as Suzuhara told me, I put the powder into a tube-shaped piece and rolled up paper and put it to my mouth. In hindsight, I think that thing was smiling when he saw me do that. Like he knew he'd drag me into something from which I could never turn back. Whoa, we're tripping! I hadn't felt anything when I'd applied it to my skin, but this time I immediately felt dizzy. I ignored it and continued to inhale, and before long I felt a heat building up in me as though my chest were on fire. I was a bit dazed, like when you spend too much time in a bath. Not even the spiced sake I've had for New Year's made me feel like this. Suzuhara was right to say this had a lot more kick. If just inhaling a little was enough to cause all this. By the time I finished taking the entire dose, my body was burning up so badly I wanted to throw my clothes off. He told me that was a sign my cells were working to make me younger. Whoa. Even after I went to bed and closed my eyes, the fire in my chest didn't fade. Quite the opposite. I felt aches different from the pounding of my heart, along with something coursing through my body. It was like I had a swarm of worms crawling through my lymph nodes and blood vessels. Normally I'd be disgusted by the sensation, but I saw it as a sign my body was trying to turn young. By the next morning, I couldn't get out of bed anymore. I had a high fever, my body was swollen, and my joints ached. My mother said it was probably a cold and scolded me for going too far on my nightly walks. But I couldn't afford to stop my secret meetings with Suzuhara. There was a precise dosage and so on involved, so I couldn't take it without his instructions. I had to keep this going until I got Magical Lily's body back. I stayed in bed with a high fever through the day, snuck out when I was feeling a little better at night, and had Suzuhara give me the medicine. This routine went on for several days. My parents told me to go to the hospital, but I didn't want a doctor to order me to stop, so I skipped in secret. My face in the mirror looked haggard. However, I was convinced this was part of the process of destroying my monstrous body from within. And then 1 week had passed since I started taking the medicine. By this point, I was starting to get vertigo in addition to high fevers, and it was a struggle to just get out of bed. I figured my parents would call an ambulance if I made a fuss, so I put up with it all no matter how hard it got. Once my rendezvous time with Suzuhara drew near, I forced myself up despite all the pain. My fever was so bad that day I could barely move. But my phone was beeping to let me know the time to meet Suzuhara had come, and so I hurried onward. I had started seeing the world as mushy and distorted. It felt like it was pulsating from time to time. I couldn't even tell if I was walking on my own 2 feet or if I was rolling about while still asleep. Even the handrail by the stairs I'd grown so accustomed to warped in my eyes, and so it took a lot of effort to get down the stairs without falling. Fortunately, my parents didn't notice, and I managed to get outside. Fortunately, an odd choice of words, isn't it? I'd have been much more fortunate if I just collapsed then and there. Ooh. I knew that had to be Susuhara, but he looked very different. I figured that it must have been the fever messing up my vision. But while his voice was the same, his body wasn't. It was like he was a big black shadow. He had long black hair that fell to the ground and horns that looked like withered branches growing out of his head. The dim glow from the streetlights didn't illuminate much, so I couldn't even see the look on his face. But his voice was still Susuhara's, so I still believed it was him. She's morbid! Susuhara's voice sounded odd from time to time. Something must have been up with my ears. I was in a daze and on the verge of collapse. But it was the last time, so I endured, figuring I could sleep all I wanted later. At Susuhara's urging, we sat down by the park's flower bed. When we did, he opened his right hand and tilted his palm downward. Something seemed to flutter down from it. It was black and light, like a tiny feather. But it reflected no light, even under the glow of the streetlights. And then, what looked like black snow or soot began raining down. Susuhara caught it in his left palm, forming a small mountain. He then kneaded it with his hands, changing it into the shape of a thin tube. This was the last of the medicine. But this was the end of the line for me. I was dizzy and couldn't even trust what I was seeing. Susuhara must have realized that because he took my hands and helped me. Whoa. Whoa, whoa. I did as I was told. I inhaled it deep into my lungs. And when I did, my head was filled with a burst of pure light. I was still dazed, but the sense of fatigue and suffocation that had plagued me cleared right up. I'd hit the peak. My week of penance must have finally borne fruit. Just then I saw someone walking slowly out of the light. It was a little girl. It was me, back in the good old days where I was petite and adorable. Tears of gratitude welled in her eyes, and she smiled appreciatively at me.
私を取り戻すために頑張ってくれてありがとう、ババア。ババアは余計これで私たちはマジカルリリーを取り戻せるよ。あんたは私と一つになるの。これで一番輝いてたあの頃を私たちは取り戻せるわ。先輩認めてもらえるかな。もちろんだわ。私の微笑みに耐えられる男の子なんているわけないもん。それも鈴原先輩のためだけに微笑むの。みんなのリリーじゃない、先輩だけのリリーになるの。そうしたら絶対先輩のハートを
I don't know about all that.
できるんだから。できるわ。だってその姿こそが私の。
Lily slowly embraced me. I hugged her back. I felt the heat of my chest merge with the one in hers.
あなたは私という体にできた吹き出物
Jesus!
にそれをきれいさっぱり落とせば本当の私の体に帰ることができる。 私の化け物みたいな体をきれいさっぱり。もうお薬はすべて飲んだから、あとは寝て待つだけ。それで私はよみがえれるの。そして鈴むお兄ちゃんだけの私になるの。早く
Why? Why can't you let him be your boyfriend now?
消し去ってしまおう。そして早くきれいに
Why do you have to be a little girl?
会いに行こう。
All of a sudden, I heard tires screeching as a car quickly took off. That sound brought me back to my senses, clearing some of the haze in my mind.
どうしたの？
なんでもないです。急に頭がすっきりして。
峠を越えたんだね。飛躍の効果が君の体の中に行き渡ったんだよ。もうあとは大丈夫。
待つだけ。
待つだけで。
With those final words, the thing that looked like Susuhara faded into the darkness. I suddenly found myself worried. Oddly enough, the medicine felt more real when it was causing my body to suffer. Now that it all cleared up, I wondered if its effects had already stopped working. But Susuhara said that it was spreading through my body. The effects that would purge the ugly boil that I was from Lily would soon arrive. And before the week had ended, I saw it happen. A few days after I was well enough to go back to school.
ハクタくん、おはよ
挨拶なんてしてる場合じゃねえぜ。見た。
学校に週刊誌とか持ってきたら怒られるんじゃない？
う。あれ？クルスリリアってリリアちゃんの記事？
Flower High member Liria Kurusu caught smoking at night? The former magical lily, after a 3-year hiatus from the peak of her popularity, made headlines with her stunning return as the newest member of Flower High, only to be caught in a major scandal. A pure idol, now a delinquent smoker?
そんなわけないよ。リリアちゃんにタバコの匂いなんてしなかった。
すごいね。匂いでわかるんだ。
リリアちゃんがタバコなんて吸うわけがねえ。絶対にガセだぜ。
Liria Kurusu's stunning wanderlust, caught smoking all alone at night in the park. Coming back into the limelight after a 3-year hiatus must have been stressful, sure, but she's still a minor. Even if she were an adult, it still would have been a shock to her fans that the Princess of Cleaning Land smokes.
写真はリリアちゃんにそっくりだね。
So she is doing drugs!
全然似てねえよ。ちょっと似てるだけの別人に決まってるぜ。
The photo appeared to have been taken with a zoom lens. It showed Lydia sitting all alone in the park late at night with what appeared to be a cigarette in her mouth. She was in casual clothes, so she was a far cry from the glamorous girl on stage. But there was no doubt that it was Lydia Kurusu herself.
これは君本人で間違いないのか?
Yes, the girl in the photo was unmistakably me. Come to think of it, I'd heard a car speeding off into the night that day. We must have been photographers or something. There was no way they'd believe me about the de-aging medicine even if I explained it. To an onlooker, all they saw was a cigarette.
これは
My lack of words was as good as a confession. But it wasn't shock that rendered me speechless. The mist still clouding my head made this all feel worlds away. Because of that, I found the guidance counselor's interrogation tiresome. Somewhat exasperated, I decided to readily admit I had been smoking. As a result, I was suspended from school. But I didn't really care anyway. School did nothing to help me sing and dance, much less earn Susuhara's recognition. All that mattered was getting Lily's charm back. School was pointless compared to that. My mother gave me an earful back at home. She was sharp. She knew I would never do this on my own, thus she demanded the name of the instigator from me. I didn't care about the rest, but hearing Susuhara get badmouthed would have angered me. So instead, I gave her some sob story about how I was too stressed, that I felt trapped, that all the cruel comments on the internet had hurt too badly. For some reason, she apologized at the end, saying she must have driven me into a corner. She also apologized for not recognizing my efforts, but I wasn't interested. The only recognition I wanted was from Susuhara. Damn. Go to therapy. Even the bigwigs at the agency gave me a hard time. And they yelled at me for doing this at such a vital period for Flower High's future. Honestly, I didn't care about Flower High School anymore. So long as I could get Magical Lily back, I would make it on my own. After much uproar, I was sentenced to an indefinite suspension from idol work. It seemed my name was promptly wiped from the Flower High School's roster. Perhaps the situation was a lot more serious than I thought. But I couldn't bring myself to give a damn about any of it. Back when I was Magical Lily, the agency had done nothing but cling to my shadow. Besides, I didn't want their recognition, just Susuhara's. My body felt like lead that night. My mother was crying in the living room. But I just didn't care at all. It all felt so disconnected. Just then, I got a visitor. Susuhara had come to see me. Normally, I would have been surprised that he'd come in without knocking, but that didn't matter.
順調に薬の効果が出ているね。
薬の効果。
君にできた不要な吹き出物を落とす。
Finally, then I understood. That was a boil, a pimple, a tumor. Plus, that was why Lydia Kurusu had to wither and be erased. Yes, the medicine had taken effect all right. Because now, it was over for Lydia Kurusu, wasn't it?
そしたら私はリリーになれて
All this for a twink!
そうだね。きっと認められる。元の可愛らしい、愛くるしい、華奢で小さなあの体に戻れたらね。
早く戻って先輩に一番可愛い私にもうクルスリリアという海はいつリリーの体
これから始まるよ。
He's a tasty twink.
感じないかな。
Sorry if you hear my mom
体の
coughing.
変化が。
I didn't notice because it was so faint, but I did indeed feel my body changing. My joints and blood vessels were throbbing.
君はこれから
A chrysalis!
そのぎ
そして生まれ変わる。はい。
Oh, Nami! Nami, thank you so much for the raid! I watched a little bit of your stream before I started streaming as well. The cloud tomo looks really, really cute. Thank you so much for the raid! I really appreciate it. Thank you. Nami raid! Cloud raid! Thank you, thank you. So is Lily gonna pop out of the body like a butterfly out of a cocoon or what? Thank you, I'm glad to shepherd everyone along to more entertainment. Thank you, Nami! I appreciate it so much. And Meriden, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships! Very, very appreciated. Thank you. Teehee. Alright. He was right. Though my body felt like it was melting on the inside, my skin felt dry and bulky. So that was it. I was becoming a chrysalis. Susuhara sounded surprised. I looked around and noticed that the room had gone dark at some point, and that there were multiple red lights shining here. Those pinpricks in the darkness were all focused on their prey. They had Susuhara surrounded. I couldn't even begin to count how many there were.
なんだこいつらは。
Susuhara sounded panicked for the first time ever. I got the impression something terrifying was happening, but the haze in my head prevented me from connecting to it. Countless eyes shining in the darkness walked forward, revealing their true forms. They were Japanese dolls. The dolls shuffled and charged at Susuhara as though to devour him. Susuhara's voice sounded distorted again. Perhaps all death cries through. He started screaming and I heard what sounded like thick leather being torn to pieces. The dolls were tearing off his skin. Something repulsive that I couldn't possibly imagine where his innards squirmed in his place. At that moment, I finally understood. This thing wasn't Susuhara. Just something that had been pretending to be him. It must have taken advantage of my weakness and donned the form of my beloved Susuhara in order to approach me. The dolls gnawed into the monster's bleeding flesh and entrails and dragged them out. The fake Susuhara writhed as it changed into a pile of guts which amassed before the dolls. And when I saw that, I came to an epiphany. That thing had tricked me. I never turned back the biological clock. I totally bought into its story and just did whatever it told me. No. But then, did that mean I wouldn't get back my old body? If so, then what was the point of losing Niria Kurusu? No. No, I wasn't going to turn into a chrysalis. And when I woke up, I'd be Lily again. The room around me had changed before I even knew it. It was white. White as an angel's feathers. No. This wasn't my room. Where was I? My body felt funny. My skin was stiff and aching. It hurt when I moved my arm. It was only natural. After all, there was a thick needle connected to a tube stuck into it. An IV was dripping from the other end. So this was a hospital then. I felt something large lying next to my head. When I turned to look, I was surprised to find a Japanese doll there. It was a new, beautiful doll that had been well groomed. It made sense. No wonder I had weird dreams with this thing in my bed. Oh, it's Toy! Oh my god, did you save us? Thank you. I blame our schools. Kurokami had been standing next to my bed the whole time, watching me. I was surprised, but the pain, fatigue, and disorientation I felt far outweighed that.
ここはどこでしょう?
病院。病院? いましたか? Perhaps I should have been more surprised. I was holding an intelligible conversation with Kurokami.
この人形、まさかお見舞いのつもりですか?
そのままにしておいて。
結構です。お人形さんと添い寝はとっくに卒業してますんで。
I tried to push the doll away, but even the slightest movement filled me with sharp pain. It seemed it'd be easiest on me if I just lay there and did nothing, like that doll.
どうして私は病院なんかに。
お前はもう
死ぬから。だから言った。あいつは汚れてるから近寄るなと。
だったら僕にも近づかない方がいいかもね。僕も汚れてるそうだから。
Damn.
どうして先輩が汚れてるんですか？
さあね。でもさっきやった黒髪さんが僕にそう言うんだ。僕は汚れているから二度と近づくな、不幸が訪れるって。
わけわかんない。なんで鈴原先輩に近づいちゃいけないんですか？
あれはすすにまみれてる。
は？
私たちを惑わす呪いはすすを求めるから。
わけわかんない上に余計なお世話です。私のことはどう言おうと勝手ですけど、先輩の悪口はやめてください。
それが呪い。
はあ？
私たちはあれのすすに惹かれる。お前とてなぜあれに惹かれるのか理由などわからぬはずだ。
What was she going on about? My body hurt, my mind was a daze, and I could barely move. Yet she had the gall to put that creepy doll next to me and start spouting nonsense. What was wrong with her?
何を言ってんのかわかりませんが、あなたと話すと疲れます。誰か呼んでくれませんか？喉が渇きました。
お前の母親が下にいた。呼べば喜んで飛んでくるだろう。
それとこの気持ち悪い人形持って帰ってください。
Intense pain accompanied my attempt to move. It felt like my whole body was shattering apart. But I didn't want to see this creepy thing a second longer, so I fought hard to pick it up. However, the pain was so great that I ended up dropping it on the floor. And at that precise moment, I blacked out.
いらないなら持って帰るけど、あんたの寿命がそれで終わるだけ。
Before I knew it, the doll I dropped to the floor was being pressed into my chest. It seemed that I'd only been unconscious for as long as the doll had been away from me. But my condition was clearly worse than before. The sense of swelling in my abdomen I'd managed to ignore earlier was now overwhelming me.
嘘。
I couldn't even stay conscious without having this creepy doll at my side. Right, I was becoming a chrysalis. That had to be why I was feeling so terrible, but that also meant I'd soon be reborn. There was a part of me exasperated by my lingering belief in that notion. Was I becoming a chrysalis to get Lily back? Or had I merely been deceived by the monster disguised as Susuhara? I couldn't tell anymore. So, all I could do was believe in the more hopeful possibility.
私は死にません。いえ、死ぬとしたらクルス・リリアが消えるだけ。すぐに私はこの殻を破ってリリーとして生まれ変わるんです。
Kurokami probably didn't understand a word I said. I couldn't blame her, I was just mumbling nonsense.
先輩は一体
誰が
何しに来たんですか？
奇病に侵されて余命いくばくと聞き、 様子を見に来た。
奇病。まあそういうことになってるんでしょうね。
しかしもはやできることは何もない。
余計なお世話です。
The sense of swelling in my abdomen grew stronger and stronger, and it was so hard to breathe that I broke out into a cold sweat. It must have been because I dropped that doll earlier.
お前は死ぬ。
どうも。
しかしそれも定めかもしれぬ。そして解放でもあるやもしれぬ。
何を言ってるかさっぱりです。
さようなら布川の娘。死ぬことが許されたお前が羨ましい。
おや、呼んでもらえますか。
Right after Kurokami left the room, my mother came tearfully rushing in. It seemed she'd been told I was in critical condition and might not wake up again. She was elated with belief that I was on the road to recovery, but I knew her joy would be short-lived. It was my body. I knew it best. Just as Kurokami had said, I wouldn't last much longer. It was only thanks to the grace, or whatever, of that creepy doll that I was staying conscious. And besides, while the doll had arrived looking like it was fresh off the shelf, its hair was now frizzing and its kimono was tearing, like it stood the test of time. I could barely breathe, but my mind was clear, so I quickly said what I had to. I didn't have a moment to spare.
お母さん、今までありがとう。お父さんにもありがとうと伝えて。私、多分もうすぐ死ぬ。そしてもう時間はわずかしかないの。そのわずかの時間をどうしても捧げたい人がいるの。
That damn boy!
呼んで。
News of Nunokawa's mysterious illness and critical condition reached the LCSC. I hadn't spoken to her all that much, but she'd given me a ticket to her debut concert, and though we hadn't known each other long, she'd seemed to enjoy my company. So I wanted to go visit her in the hospital. They weren't allowing any visitors. It was then that I got the call. Nunokawa was at death's door, and she wanted to see me before the end. This may sound unfair to her, but I honestly had no idea why she'd ask for me. Normally, you'd want to spend your final moments with the people you cared for most, like close friends or family. So, I didn't have a clue why I took priority above all of them. I didn't know what to say. Who in the world was the me she kept meeting night after night? I hadn't even seen her once since the day of the concert. I'd gone looking for her group's booth to say hi to her, but in the end, neither Natsu nor I could find it. I hadn't spoken to her since the day she gave me the ticket at the shrine. But I didn't know if I should tell her that, because I wanted to believe her. However, she was probably in critical condition because of that thing that opposed as me. So all I could do was hang my head, dumbfounded.
先輩からすればわけのわからないめちゃくちゃな話だと思います。でも私だって話してて思いました。なんてわけのわからない 話。そもそもなんで私の頭の中が先輩のことでいっぱいなのかさえ、どうして私はあなたのことがこんなにも。
I couldn't tell her. It was a mystery to us both. Why was it she took such a liking to me? We were attracted to his soot. That was what Kurokami had said. According to Nunokawa, she had also said this. The curse seeks soot, so it deceives us. That's the curse.
僕が呪われていると。
Musky soot!
そんな風なことを言ってましたね。
That reminds me, I think my contact name in Bao's phone is Musky Husky. I didn't recall getting cursed, but I remembered what Kurokami had told me at the shrine. You're corrupted. Just who was Toe Kurokami, and what did she know? And why was it she weighed so heavily on my mind? My feelings for her sounded a lot like Lydia's for me. An attraction without any solid basis. Was that the curse?
すみません。急に呼びつけて、こんなわけのわからない話を聞かせて。
僕に何かできることはある？
はい。だから呼んだんです。もし本当にその姿の先輩に見てほしいんです。私わかるんです。もうすぐ私というさなぎが帰るって。
それを見届ければいいんだね。
はい。そしてもしそれがとても魅力的だったなら、どうか私を認めると声を。もうすぐだから。
Well,
大丈夫？今誰かに。
呼ばないで。先輩だけが見て。お願い。ふとめくって私の体を。
pulling back a girl's covers felt the same as taking off her clothes, so I was a bit reluctant. But I fulfilled her wish! I gasped. Her body was so...
綺麗だよ。
嘘。今はさなぎだから。みっともない。
I don't get it. What's different? Indeed, she looked just like a chrysalis, an insect's pupa. Was what she dreamed of truly lying inside there? Hoping for that just seemed so... Keeping my thoughts from showing on my face was harder than anything else. She believed her most beautiful self was resting inside her. But it was just too difficult to imagine what her ideal was, when it was already difficult enough as it was to look at that. Despite that, I lied.
みっともなくなんかないよ。
Maybe the art is different in the non-Steam version, maybe?
リリアちゃんの
Hold on.
綺麗な体だよ。
Let me try to see. No! It's all the same. Weird. Weird. Just then, it shook and she started moaning in agony. I heard what sounded like wood cracking. It was the sound of the head of the doll snapping off. And then, as if that were the signal, the time finally came. A muddy muck like pitch black blood, like amniotic fluid, spewed out of the tear in her stomach and scattered everywhere. It gushed out of her like a geyser, staining the sheets, walls, and ceiling with its filth. Wow. It sprayed on me too, but I couldn't turn away. Yeah. Damn, Rita keeps opening Mass Effect. A moment later, a misshapen lump of flesh burst forth. An orange light scattered along with the black muck. I found that sight utterly beautiful. The black muck blanketing the walls caught fire the second the sparks hit. I went for me, too. Amidst the world wreathed in crimson flames, I saw it. Something like black soot spurted from her corpse and formed into the shape of a human. It was a child, with horns like withered branches growing out of her head. It looked like something imitating the body she had wished for. Wreathed in crimson flames and clad in the cursed black soot was the avatar of the curse, looking up to the ceiling and celebrating its birth. It treaded all over the disfigured corpse that was once Lydia. Did you kill Lydia? There was no way I could hold a conversation with something inhuman, but my thoughts must have gotten through to it, because it looked right at me and curved its lips into a smirk. I readied my fist. It was the only dedication I could offer before God. When it saw that, the thing stared with confusion for a moment before throwing its head back in laughter. It was pointless. You couldn't strike the moon by hitting its reflection. There was no way you could punch something inhuman in human guise. But I couldn't help but try. I wanted Lydia's soul to rest as peacefully as possible. The thing sneered as though it read my thoughts. It shot me a pitying, mocking look, almost as if it were blaming me for this. Had it killed her? Or did I really bear some curse that brought misfortune to those I approached? Only this thing knew the answer. No, Perhaps the other one knew too. Whoa. Ah, we finished UTAHIME! Nice! What's after UTAHIME? It's Kizuato Hime. So like, I think we have 2 more arcs. There's Kizuato Hime and Rokugami Hime. Yeah. So we're over halfway done with the game. Wow! I forgot about that CG. Yeah, I think eventually it like all comes together and explains it. This was written right by Ryuxio 7, so like, yeah. Yay! Alright. Well, I don't think I want to start Kizuato Hime today, just because I don't have a whole lot of time today. I still need to go get dinner. And then I have plans at 5. It's like nearly 4 right now, so I need to like quickly figure out what to do for dinner. Let me find someone to raid. Hold on. I'll find someone to raid and then I'll do a super chat reading and then we'll send you guys over to someone who is streaming. But wow. She blew up. Let's see. Is Rita about to stream? Yeah, Rita's starting stream soon. Okay, we'll send you guys over to Rita. So let me edit the redirect. Okay, I have that. Now I'm gonna move us over to the super chat screen. Okay, here we go. Pashao, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh god, I remember. I know that's Hito at the end. Oh, how do you... It's like... Was it hi? Hi, Hito? Thank you so much for the super chat! Shu, thank you so much for being a member for 10 months. Efren, thank you so much for being a member for 4 months. Parsi, thank you so much for the super chat. Grimper, thank you so much for being a member for 2 months. And Meriden, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. Oh, Kaito! Oh, it's not Haito, it's Kaito. I see. Thank you for letting me know. Alright, guys. I'm not gonna have an ending screen. I am just gonna end here, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I think we're playing more The Evil Within tomorrow. Either tomorrow is Evil Within or Resident Evil 7. So either way, I will see you tomorrow for some survival horror. I'm really, really excited to continue either game. So yeah, I will see you later. Bye-bye for now. Thank you so much for coming. Oyashiki!